All right, so I'm Bruce. This is Bruce Canepa, and can I start off with a couple questions? So, how many mechanics you guys have on staff here? Because I've been by here and I've seen some mechanics, but
Well, it's usually around. Right now, we're short of guy. We need more people for the amount of work, but it runs in the mid 50s,
50 mechanics.
50 plus.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And then how did you get into racing initially? Because obviously you were in racing before, and what started? Were you racing like as a kid on the
I
street?
liked going fast when I was 10.
Really?
And whatever it was.
So like in high school, were you racing like in your cars that you had?
Yeah, well, I started. I actually started racing. Well, I raced go karts when I was young, but
Oh, wow.
go kart tracks weren't like today. I mean, it was wherever you could find a place that they set up cones and you raced go karts.
Yeah.
And then really, I started racing at Watsonville Speedway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And what kind of automobiles?
My dad's body shop manager and his brother had what was a Claimer, but it was really like a stock car.
Oh,
and I drove their car to start with.
That was your first kind of foray into that.
Yeah, then I drove Sportsman, which was a class, and that was a NASCAR track. So I drove Sportsman, then I drove super modifieds, and then I went sprint car racing.
So you were in NASCAR. You
Yeah.
actually were,
Yeah.
Did you have some wins? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Some of the trophies out there and stuff. Is that some of you, or is that just cars that are raced?
Pretty much all stuff from me.
That is your wins.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
gosh. Wow, that's formidable. That's something. And then how did you get this? Then how did you transition from racing to this amazing place?
Well, I really didn't transition. I was. My dad was in the car business.
Oh, he was. Okay.
So I grew up in the car business and loved cars, so that made it easy.
Yeah.
And I worked at his place as much as I could.
As mechanics?
Well, I started sweeping the floors. So,
Okay.
started right at the bottom, and then kind of worked in almost every department.
Wow.
And learned, all the different parts of the trade.
Darn, shit.
And by the time I was in my late 20s, I was running his dealerships. So
And what kind of cars was he selling?
he had a Ford Lincoln Mercury store. He had International Trucks. He had BMW.
Wow.
He had Renault. He had all those franchises.
And so again, the vintage cars, how did you go from that to this?
Well, the new car business. When I left my dad, I started my own business,
okay.
and part of it was having new car dealerships. Part of it was having a store selling just what you call exotic cars, whatever you want to call it.
So you
Collector
started out with
cars,
that.
old
Yeah.
cars,
Wow.
everything. And there was all stuff I liked that wasn't new. So that's really how it began. And then at some point, I sold off everything related to new car dealerships and started this business on a much smaller scale.
Okay, yeah.
And then here we are.
And so Scotts Valley, how long has this been here?
Since I bought this building in 2000.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 26 years about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I live actually down the street, 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
And I've been here for almost 30 years. I just stepped in here like a year ago. So it's a friend of mine has a Porsche, and he was coming in. So, just to refer to some of this. So, what was one of your most memorable cars that you sold that you can remember? Just one of your.
God.
I mean, there's a ton, right? But what's one that just comes to mind that's just was holy cow? Not necessarily price wise, but just you liked.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's I've been lucky to sell a lot of really cool cars.
Oh yeah.
And find a lot of cars to sell. So, it's
Yeah. How do you procure cars? I mean, where do they come from?
well, for the longest time, we're out, just literally beating the bush, so to speak,
Oh,
chasing cars and asking who's got this, who's got that.
Yeah.
And really very limited for me because I want only the highest quality car. I want the best of the best of the best.
it's your reputation. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's just the way I am.
Who you are. Yeah.
So that makes it a lot more work than just finding a car. And I learned about Porsches early on. Even though my dad was selling American cars mostly, he took in trade a Porsche when I was young, and I got to drive it, and I was hooked pretty early. So,
What is it about Porsches? Because I mean, it's I heard there's just so many people. It's the Porsche is like the ultimate kind of car in many ways.
well,
right?
it's the driving experience. It really does everything the way a car should do everything. I mean, handling, stopping, acceleration.
Wow.
You know, how it feels, how you sit in it.
Wow.
It's a driver's car.
Is there any car comparable that you would say even comes close to that, or and if so, what?
I think there's a lot of stuff that comes sort of close, but not really. You know, I mean,
Wow.
once you spend enough time in a Porsche, everything else is just one step below it.
I'll
It's
be
not
darned.
not terrible. It's not wrong. It's just different.
That's very interesting. And they've been around how long? You know, the Porsche has been around.
Yeah, like 1950.
1950s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, so is there an American car that early on was like, you know, when they were first coming out, what was competing with the Porsche at that time when it came out? Do you know?
Well, you know, Corvette tried to compete with Porsche,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
And but really, that was about it in terms of that was the only American sports car for a long time.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
then Shelby built the Cobra.
Ah. Okay. Yes.
And that's a pretty formidable car when it showed up. But Porsche's different in that it builds cars that, you know, when they race Le Mans, they do 24 hours without much effort. And they build cars to do twice that at basically full throttle, so to speak.
What did you mean by that when you said they do it without much effort? Porsche?
Well, their engineering was so well done and so uncomplicated for the most part that they're able to build a car that at what I call full duty cycle, as hard as you could run it,
Wow.
it would do it for 24,
Wow.
34, 44, whatever hours you want to run it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And-
Not many people can say that.
And who founded the Porsche? I mean, Porsche's a name.
Yeah,
Those
Porsche's
guys-
name. Yeah,
What was the first
Porsche,
name of the guy?
Ferdinand Porsche.
Ferdinand Porsche,
Yeah.
and Germany, right?
Germany, oh yeah.
Germany, and then BMW's Germany too,
Oh
right?
yeah, and Mercedes.
And Mercedes, so just a
Audi.
ton of good stuff.
And
Yeah,
Volkswagen.
a great, amazing cars coming out. Why do you think so many amazing cars come out of Germany? I mean, some good
Well, I
cars
think
came-
engineering wise to start with, just that mentality for engineering things to the extremes to make them work and be reliable and all that. And Porsche started out, he built the Volkswagen and then he wanted to build his own car, and so he built the Porsche as his own car. And
started with the Volkswagen. though.
started the Volkswagen, yeah.
Yeah, Porsche did, or
Porsche did.
Oh, so Porsche was also responsible for
Porsche the person.
but he was responsible for the Volkswagen also.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So he built the Volkswagen
Yeah,
and the Porsche.
And the Porsche.
Oh wow! What a darn thing!
And the one thing Porsche did all the time was they proved how good their car was by racing it first
Ah man,
and producing it second, so to
Yeah.
speak. And
So it really showed people
Yeah.
worldwide
they
what
were
that
able
car
to
could do.
transfer all that
Wow.
that knowledge into a production car.
So just something a little bit off the cuff, and it'd be too long here, but obscure. So like just. I think about like someone's first car. I know my first car, it was kind of standard American 1969 Mustang. But what would you recommend for somebody just getting their license that is on a budget? Let's say they have a budget of $10,000 to $20,000. Is there anything that's decent used, and what would it be? And
God, I don't know.
what year?
Actually,
price
there's cars. I mean, there's no Porsches that are $10,000 to $20,000 anymore.
Wouldn't be that probably.
But that's not true either. 914, you could probably buy a 914 in that price range.
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
You could. Okay.
And you could buy a 924 in that price range,
Wow.
a front engine car. 911s are probably $50,000.
They're a little out of that
as
range.
a baseline,
Yeah.
in one of those, because 10 to 20,000 doesn't buy you much of anything anymore.
With anything,
especially
yeah.
the last 5 years.
I was just gonna
Inflation,
say, like the last 5 years is unbelievable.
yeah, it went pretty crazy.
And then trend, electric cars. I mean, where do you see that in self-driving cars? Do you see a day where, literally maybe the government's going to say, hey, statistically, obviously, there's so many more crashes with not, people driving cars. And is there a day you think it's going to come where you're just going to say, hey, strip people of their cars? Maybe not in our
I don't
lifetimes.
think so.
You don't think so?
Look, the car is, other than the house, it's the second biggest investment
Yeah.
we make. It's the most emotional investment
Sure,
we
yeah.
make. It gives us the most freedom of anything you can do. And if
Absolutely.
you think about it, you really not going to go anywhere without a car.
Yes. Yeah.
And it allows you to not only go anywhere you want, but any time, any distance, any direction. So
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get to a day where electric or autonomous is is the majority. I think it's. I think there's a place for it, but I think it's in the minority. The electric cars already proved it's in the minority.
Sure.
I mean,
it has in the
they
minority.
overbuilt them. Now they've
Oh.
stepped back from building them. They're not selling them. People don't want them. I mean, I tell guys if I had a home here, which I do, if I had a home here, and let's say my office was in Santa Clara,
Okay.
and I got a charging station at my office or something. You buy an electric car, makes sense. Go over there, plug it in, drive it home, whatever. Outside of that, I wouldn't use that car.
Why?
I want a car. Well,
Yeah.
they're kind of. There's no heart and soul to the electric car. I mean, the bottom line.
They don't make the nice noise too. The nice
No, they don't. They don't
gas
have
motor
character,
noise, right?
you
Yeah,
know,
they don't have
it's-
character.
It's just a different thing. It's just a means of transportation. It's not. There's no emotional content to it.
Yeah.
Not that I can see, and I think not that most car guys can see. There isn't one. So.
And you don't think that you said they're not selling? Why do you think that is? They're not selling well?
Well, because I think they have limited use. So I think from day one, I always thought that market was probably 5% of the car business.
Oh, you did.
At the most.
You pegged it at that. At
Yeah,
that
that's
time.
just the number I put on.
Wow.
I said because I said if I look at how I use cars, I probably wouldn't have one for myself because if I have a nice sedan, I got to be able to drive it to LA. Well, most electric cars won't go to LA without a charge.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then
So
I don't feel like sitting somewhere for 30 minutes plus getting a charge, and so I think they got their limitations.
Yeah.
And I think they there's some good things about them, but there's some less practical things about them. The other thing is they're all heavy. I don't like heavy cars.
Because of the battery, correct?
The batteries.
Yeah, batteries.
They're going to be heavy. They're pretty hard on tires and roads when you think about it because of the weight.
Yeah.
So, it's.
So it's a long way off if they ever do
Yeah.
displace completely.
I think they got to get battery
gasoline car.
technology to a different level.
So the oil companies could be a little less shaky right now.
Oh, I don't think they're shaky anyway.
There'll always be something, right?
Yeah.
To keep that going.
I-
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that until you get a battery technology that's safe, because batteries aren't really safe.
Oh, they're not.
No.
What?
I mean, every time one of these electric cars crashes, it's usually a fire.
Oh,
So
didn't know that.
It'd be nice not to have a fire when you crash.
Wow.
And they're heavy,
Yeah.
and they're not very serviceable. You kind of look
Interesting.
I kind of look at the electric cars, and when you're done with them, they're kind of done. It's like a computer. You recycle it, and it's done. And they don't have a great resale value. And when you make an investment in a car, and it's not inexpensive anymore, it's average new car is really $50,000 to $100,000.
Yes, now it is.
Or more, and you want to have some value in it when you're done with it.
Sounds like there's no collectability in that at all right now.
Not so
There's
far.
no electric car that is people are like coveting or want to keep. Yeah.
No.
So just wrapping up here. So yeah, I think that's about it, man. I really appreciate your time, and this is really cool. And your office is pretty amazing, right? You got all kinds of books and all kinds of paraphernalia. Cool.
Yeah.
A lot of papers on your desk.
Yeah.
You're pretty damn busy, right?
I'm busy. Yeah.
So hey, man, I'll sign off with
No,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time, man.